You may have already reached this point, or you will be reaching this point soon if you stay on track. But if you've been affirming, staying consistent, and ignoring your 3D reality, you will notice that something really shifts. So here are the exact energetic and behavioral shifts and changes that come in with your specific person when you take this approach. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about your specific person and the exact type of shifts that are happening with your SP's energy, behavior that connects to your own energy, your own internal shifts, what is going to be reflected back to you with your specific person, and the kind of things that you need to be doing to see these shifts come in. So that's what today's video is about. Stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about all the different signs, and at the end I'm going to talk about how this actually speeds up your manifestation and how to, keep your manifestation on a really fast track. So that's what today's video is. Please do thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd very much appreciate it. You can let YouTube know that you enjoy this content, you want more. And on screen as well, before we jump in, anyone who's considering becoming a member, you can take a look. The join button is literally right below the screen. If you tap it, it should show you the perks and benefits of membership before you, it doesn't just immediately charge you or anything, don't worry. It should show you the benefits before you do that. So you can take a quick look. Everything is linked below in the description box for my coaching. So take a look if you want extra support. And now let's jump into the video. When your specific person is conforming, this is literally their behavior and external behavior, the externalization being shown, being conformed to what you're focusing on so that it matches your dominant inner assumption. That's why sometimes people get hot and cold because they haven't fully let go of the old story, or you see the 3D still playing out for whatever reason. That's still your dominant assumption. So your dominant focus and what you persist with needs to align with what you want. It needs to be your affirmation, your desired end result, because that is what your SP is going to match and what your SP is going to reflect back to you with their behavior. So it's their internal conforming as well, of course. It's their emotions, their thoughts. Everything technically, starts from the internal, from, your inner reality, because you're not just going to suddenly act without a reason. Every action, every word, there is some reason behind it. So yes, they conform internally, but it's when their external behavior actually comes through as the version you want, because that is then visibly conforming. So you will literally feel that shift before you see it. You have to believe it before you see it, right? Kind of the opposite of that classic phrase, because it's the energetic shift that comes in first, and it has to stem from your own energy, from your own internal reality, your own internal focus. And the 3D reality, of course, does take time to catch up to your subconscious assumptions, your subconscious updates, shall we say, literal internal software update. Your subconscious mind is going to be in control of that, is shaping and taking in everything that is given to it with repetition. And that needs to occur first before, your SP reflects that back. That's not to say there's a huge gap or needs to be a really long delay. It's really down to your own internal conforming process. Are you being persistent, being consistent? Are you, ignoring your 3D reality, as I said in the introduction? You're going to get a real sense of this and literally sense it internally with your own energy, a sense of peace and feeling calm, especially with, in regards to your SP, the topic of your specific person, that relationship, dating, relationships. Of course, this does also apply to a non-romantic SP. So you're going to start to feel calm and assured, balanced. This is the kind of thing I do talk about a lot in my other videos when I touch on this topic, but you will feel it energetically within yourself. It'll be a sudden sense of that, a sudden feeling, an emotion overcoming you, and you will just, usually during affirmations or during a time where you're really saturating your mind, you're in that zone, even if it's just 5 minutes of repetition, it can suddenly come up. That is you thinking and living from the wish fulfilled. That is you in the end state, because you're connecting to the feelings of that. You're connecting to, mentally and physically, in terms of, physically and internally, you're connecting to what it would be like to be in that end result. Calm, collected, balanced, at peace, just feeling really good, not stressed, not worried, not doubtful. So that is you already energetically shifting into that, and that's a sign. Or things that you will personally experience that will also show that your specific person is going to be well, literally is conforming, and vice versa. They can be experiencing the exact same thing, dreaming of you, but you might have dreams, flashes of images, visuals coming up from your affirmations, in a conversation. So again, it's something you just experience within yourself. Maybe you start thinking something out loud. You start speaking to yourself as if you're having this conversation with your SP. You start just visualizing, embodying, imagining this, and you don't have to force it. If it comes up, it comes up. It might not be the right time yet. Maybe your mind hasn't conformed to that point yet. Give it time, but usually it will come up naturally in its own way for you. So yeah, internal conversations, dreams, flashes of images of the end result of your specific person in a positive way, and it starts to feel more real, more natural. That's how you know it's really coming together, because it doesn't feel, like I said, forced, where you're consciously just trying to evoke this imagery. It just comes up. It feels like it's meant to be. You feel at peace with it. It doesn't cause you doubt. You don't have a block with it, and it's okay if you do right now. But when you get to that point, those are going to be the signs of that conforming. And of course, when you stop obsessing, when you feel like it's done, when you feel like it's here, and that's not to say you have to have 100% belief, but you feel like this is mine, I connect to it, I feel it, the doubt has subsided, you're not obsessing, you're not needing to check for signs, because if they come up naturally, acknowledge them, but you don't seek things out, you don't try and force a 3D, and you don't analyze the 3D. It doesn't phase you as much. Yes, you might have an emotional reaction if you see something you don't like, or, have a little moment, a little blip, but it's not going to stop you. It's not going to push you back. And you're just literally not in that obsessive analytical state. It doesn't matter to you. So you're at that much more balanced, peaceful mindset. So with actual visible conforming, and like I said, their externalized behavior, what your SP will reflect back, could very much be them randomly, although nothing is random, reaching out to you, texting you, breaking no communication, whatever it may be, no contact. They are going to reach out in one way or another. You're going to have contact potentially. That's one big way. That's a sign that obviously their thoughts, their feelings are conforming, and they're literally taking that action out. It's becoming externalized. And it doesn't even have to be that, specific direct contact with them. It could be that your mutual contacts, your mutual friends, family members, bring them up. You see them online. They show up, on your feed, on your algorithm, whatever. You see references to them. It could even be showing up in your life unexpectedly, or in a slightly, 1 degree of separation, 2 degrees of separation. You're seeing them in one way or another. Take that all as a positive sign. Don't spiral. Although at this point, if you are following the checklist of what I've said so far, if you're at this point, you're not going to spiral. You might react a little bit. It might bring up some emotions, but regardless, it's no need to spiral or panic. Always try and assign a positive assumption, because the more you do that, eventually it does actually become natural. And when you do have that contact with them, their tone will literally shift. They mirror back your self-concept. So they're going to reflect, what you view in terms of the quality of your life, quality of your relationships, how you view yourself. Have you had a lot of self-doubt, questioning yourself during the manifesting process? Things like, am I good enough? What if they don't want me? That kind of stuff. If you've been putting in the effort, or you've kind of shifted visibly and focused on shifting into more positive assumptions about yourself, your literal self-concept, they reflect that. They will reflect that back to you. Their behavior and their words will align with that. And let's say you are already maybe in a relationship or in contact with your SP, that communication itself, like I just said, is going to completely shift. Communication will become more open, more emotionally open, more balanced, more positive. It's not really going to be anything confrontational or negative. It could just be, neutral, or get more into like a friendly state. But again, all of this is a positive shift, a positive reflection. If they are communicating in any kind of positive way, it is a win. Don't rush the 3D. So that also means don't rush your specific person, because this would directly tie into your relationship with them. It's not a test. It's not something you need to unravel or analyze or fix. Just let it play out, because this is the way it's unfolding. This is it coming together. This is, a bridge of events, the conforming steps. It is literal proof of your manifestation unfolding. So just let it be, let it play out. You don't need to control it. You just need to keep focusing on your mindset. Even if you're at this good point, it's not a sign to stop affirming, or, let your thoughts just play out the entire day. You want to be aware and intentional with your thoughts, and, flip around anything that doesn't quite align with what you want. Keep repeating the positive way you can, but just let the 3D itself play out. You don't need to interfere. Keep saturating that new story for your mind. So tell yourself, maybe when you see movement, birds before land, either directly reaffirm that you have what you want right now, or just say, this is a sign that I'm in alignment. This is a sign that everything has aligned, that SP is aligning with what I want. Reaffirm and tell yourself, this is the proof. This is the evidence. This is showing me that my 3D is coming together, that, it's unfolding. Even if it's something small, like I said, it doesn't have to be direct contact. Reaffirm to yourself that it's something positive. Don't analyze it. Just accept it. If it's something positive, you can think, I wonder what this positive thing means. Maybe it's SP is in love with me. Maybe SP is fully conforming. Maybe I'm about to get my full manifestation. That's okay. You can kind of look into it in that way and think to yourself, what exactly does this mean? But I don't mean like literally analyzing a circumstance or something negative, as long as you're coming to a positive assumption. And it really does take that repetition to normalize this. So as I've mentioned in a previous video, your reticular activating system, the RAS, is going to keep showing you proof and evidence of your manifestation, of the conforming, your dreams, seeing birds before land, things that remind you of your specific person, glimpses of the end version of your specific person, whether it's a communication with you, that the way they show up online, mutually, whatever it may be, whatever way you might see them. If it's positive, even if it's negative, just turn it around, tell yourself something positive. But if it is positive, remind yourself and say, this is even more evidence. This is even more proof. And it's your reticular activating system showing you what you've been focusing on, what you've saturated with that new story in your reality. It's going to keep showing you people who remind you of your SP, couples having what you want, what you're creating, just so much evidence and reflections of that, and use that as the moment to reaffirm. So this really reinforces that dominant assumption, that dominant focus that you have. The more you see it, as long as you don't, spiral or question it or completely ignore it, you need to be self-aware and aware of, these parts of manifestation of the process. As long as you don't, completely disregard it, it is signs and a way for you to reaffirm that this is the reality you want. This is the reality that's shifting for you. You focused on it. It's the end result version, and it's coming in right now. It's speeding up that momentum because it's showing you've been saturating your mind. This is your dominant assumption. Keep going because you're on the right track. You've clearly been putting, the right end result, the right thoughts into your mind, and repeating that over and over because it's reflecting outwards. It's literally been externalized now, and you don't need that proof, but when it does come in, it's a major sign, and it speeds it up. Because you say, another sign, another bird before land, another bit of conforming, another bridge of events. These are all positive signs. It's all positive movement and conforming, and it's speeding it up. The more it happens, the better. And your subconscious mind is very attached to that type of proof and evidence. If you keep acknowledging it and keep assigning something positive, like the affirmation suggestion I gave earlier, it's just going to keep building on it. It's building the blocks, building the Jenga blocks, the Lego blocks, whatever, until you have the full end result in your subconscious and it's fully externalized. So remember that the less you react to anything negative or a lack or apply, as long as you keep applying something positive, keep repeating that end result, the quantum field, the quantum shift is going to keep strengthening and reflecting what you want, bringing in the version that you do want. So try and hold on to that and stay consistent with the positive assumptions, because you're definitely on the right track. And these are all signs and ways that prove it, and that you can reinforce to reaffirm the version you want. So hopefully this video made sense, probably a tiny bit rambly, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.